Welcome to the check-in.
Welcome to the check-in.
We are back like we never left. And
by popular demand.
yeah, by popular demand. Not really. But anyway, like enough demand. Like all three of y'all.
Yeah. I feel like there's at least like 4 or 5 now.
I do feel like there's maybe like 5.5, 6.
Yeah. So thank you for the 5.5.
Yeah.
The new 2.5. Thank you for joining.
Yes, thank you so much.
Making us a part of your day and week.
So, how are you doing, friend?
Oh, what a loaded question.
I mean, hey, unload.
Not well. I'm gonna be honest with you, not well. I'm a little burnt.
A little burnt
out.
Burnt out.
A little crispy.
Damn. Barbecued?
You know, like
Smoked?
not even. Like
Not even
I'm that little like half a fry.
Oh.
That got stuck in the fryer. And I smell like the onion rings, the chicken nuggets, and everything else they done fried.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're a dirty potato.
Yes.
Damn.
Dirty, funky, too brown. Too brown to enjoy.
Oh, damn. I'm so sorry. I might enjoy you. I do like them little crunchy criblets.
You do?
Yes, fry bits.
I hate that shit. Like, why am I eating a potato chip? I ordered fries.
Listen, All my Steven Universe people, get the fry bits.
No.
That was the thing.
I don't.
Them little crunchies at the bottom of the fryer.
Fry bits.
Well,
how are you?
I'm, yeah.
Yep.
I'm definitely worse than
worse for wear.
Worse than last time. But ironically enough, like I think my eye twitching is finally subsiding. Like I think I'm finally hitting a space where I'm like
acceptance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Radical. Radical acceptance is what I'm practicing nowadays. And it's kind of keeping me calmer, which is nice. But life is still, I tweeted out the only person fucking me right now is life. So so that's just my life right now, and I've accepted it. I'm trying to make situations better, but so much is out of my control, and I just kind of have to rock with it. So yeah, that's how I'm doing. That tweet took you, huh? It's true.
It's just like
the only fuck I've been given from life. Yeah.
Well, damn.
You felt that?
I did.
That's great. Oh, imagine being me.
I just like I feel that, but mentally, because I'm like, oh, things are okay, and then my body's like, it's not.
No.
Do you want to go to sleep at night? It's not okay. Let's think about every fucking thing you ever have to do in life.
Yes.
Are we nice and awake now? You want to get started on that? And I was just like, it's 3 a.m., please.
Oh no, you haven't been going to bed like at a decent time?
And I've been waking up early. So I don't know what's waking me up, because I'm just like,
stressed.
We didn't hit 8 hours.
Yeah, Tall Twin is very serious about her 8 hours of sleep.
I am.
Yeah.
Like that, I think my sleep, like not having sleep, is worse than me not having food, to be quite honest.
Wow, and we all know you love food.
Like not having food makes me angry, but not having sleep will make me mentally break down.
I think that's everybody.
I'm not a sane woman if I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
And some people are like, ha ha ha, I can drink 6 cups of coffee, a Monster, and a 5-hour energy shot and only have to take a nap. That's great. If I don't get 8 hours though,
we're having a bad day.
I am going to snap. I'm going to snap. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know who's going to get hurt. Everybody might get hurt. I might be the one to get hurt. Things are going to happen though.
Everybody fall down.
Yeah. It's a good thing I don't have one. Anyways.
Yes, anyways.
This is Power Tripping again, but the grown edition.
Yeah, we're talking about grown-up bullies.
Yeah. So, I'll just go ahead and go into the first actual factual, because honestly, guys, I did not find a lot of information on this. Because apparently if you're an adult bully, or you're an adult being bullied by another adult, we don't give a shit as a society, because there's really not a lot of research out there. But our first actual factual, so This is like from a .org. That's how like much I had to scrape the bottom of the internet to find something. But that wasn't just like Psychology Today or like CNN, because what do you guys know?
Yeah, nothing.
Exactly. So
Bumbleclot.
the online survey of a online survey of more than 2,000 U.S. adults conducted in October of whatever year, because I scrambled to get this, but whatever. If you want the source, I got it for you. Anyway, it found that 31% of Americans have been bullied as an adult, and many, 43%, say the behavior has become more and more accepted this past year. The survey defined bullying as being subjected to repeated negative behavior intended to harm or intimidate. So, not the schoolyard, like you pushed me down when we were playing Foursquare. Like, this is like you were just being a dick verbally. So, with that being said, let's open the floor up. Have you ever been bullied in your adulthood?
Have you
by another adult?
Been bullied?
I've definitely been bullied by some children. I'm just like, how are you trying to bully me?
As an adult, yes. I always say famously that my parents were my first bullies. To this day, they still try me, but I I avoid them as best as like I possibly can. But workplace people, like my last job, there was this person, called them CA. CA was an actual wretched human being. And I don't know. Yeah, just wretched. Like, this bitch, for real, tried to get me fired when I was getting a promotion. The jealousy, the backstabbing, the, talking shit about me behind my back, like, reporting false information about me to try to look like I wasn't doing my job. Like, that bitch, I wanted to push down a flight of stairs easily. But I quickly recognized, I was like, this is somebody I would have bullied as a kid. And now it's like my karma is coming back to haunt me. Like, last episode, I, admitted some things, I did some things, blah, blah, blah. Like, my reckoning has definitely come back in the form of adult bullies. So it's mostly workplace stuff, even prior to my last job. The admin that I worked with, she tried to play like mom bully to me, and I was just like, ma'am, go fuck yourself. Like, people really think that I don't utilize my block feature, and I do. Like, I don't have to hear you, I don't have to see you, especially if you don't sign off on my paychecks. Like, we don't have to communicate. So that's kind of how I handle it. What about you?
Wales. I don't think I've ever been bullied by an adult outside of work. It's always workplace stuff. And I think that's probably going to be true of most people. I don't think work is our school. There's no other place we go to where we have to be there to be subject to bullying. But yep, I just, if y'all don't know, I work in IT. It's a male dominated field, unfortunately. And my first job, I was just flabbergasted by the fact that I'm like, you really treat me like shit, and ain't nobody do it. Like,
Just because you're a woman?
yes. So we'll call this elderly man. We'll call him Jeffrey. So at a certain point in time at that job, I was like still processing to go somewhere else. And that opportunity was kind of just sitting, and it finally happened. And my job was made aware of this. And so they were just like, hey, we need to talk to you. I'm terrified because, again, this is my first job out of college, just where I interned. Like, I've not worked anywhere else in this field. So I'm just like, they about to fire me because it was my team lead, my manager, my manager's manager, and my manager's manager's manager. All of them in the room. Just waiting. Like, I walked in and I was like, oh my God, I'm about to get fired.
Wow.
And they really just sat down and asked me, they're like, what can we do to make you stay? And I was like, I'm valued.
Aww.
So it was wonderful. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to go into networking. Unfortunately, that was not a department that anybody in that room was in charge of. They're just like, we have to, put you over to this other chain of command, but if this is what you want, we'll make sure you get over there.
Yeah.
I was just like, cool, thank you guys, appreciate it. Got over there, and I was like put on some like grunt level shit, and I was just like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
I've not touched this shit before, and there was like this concern that, oh, she's gonna break something, and I was just like, I had access to Active Directory. I could have took this whole company down in my sleep. But sure, you don't want me to touch your firewalls because you think I'm gonna break something. All right, fine. So I was trying to be patient, and the dude who was in charge of that team, he was always making these like little side comments and stuff, and I was just like, and people were telling me like, oh, that's just how Jeffrey is, and I'm just like, are we okay with that? Like, we just letting Jeffrey talk like this? Like, we let him talk reckless?
Yeah.
It was the day I approached him. I asked him, hey, I would like to do a little bit more. What else can I do besides sit behind people and watch them work? Because that's literally what I was doing.
Yeah.
He said, come here, let me show you something. Took me down to the data center. And I'm like, cool. I'm about to work on some switches or some shit. He went in there, handed me a broom, and told me to clean the data center. And as he left, said it was nice to have a woman's touch.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So when I say, like, that one song Tupac got where he like just goes fucking insane on the end of the track?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Jeffrey.
Wow.
That's exactly how I feel. And I heard from, friends or previous coworkers that Jeffrey had a heart surgery, and I was just like, he survived?
Wow.
Like, there was no kind of niceness in my heart for him, because I'm just like, I've never done anything to you.
Why are you treating me this way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when I stayed there for another 8 months, just dealing with that kind of bullshit. Ended up being put back on the team and on his team. So I was working 12-hour days. Nobody asked me if I wanted to go back to my old team. All this was decided before I even came into work. So it was a shitty situation. And then I was like, this not it. So I took that opportunity that I had and I left. This man proceeded to ask everybody that I was friends with where I was going so he could find out who I was working for, call them and tell them that I am a terrible employee. Which is not even legal. But like, this is how the extent of the bullying. Like, I was allotted to your team. I'm a talented young person. You decided not to utilize me. You decided to belittle me. And then got mad when I left. Classic bully behavior. Like, you suck mini penises. Yep. And choke on them. Slip into eternity. Never. Like, I just was like, wow. There's people like this who exist.
Wow.
And so this is going to bring me to my next point, because we talked about this with children. Like, what do you think is an appropriate solution for adult bullies in the workplace? Should they get fired?
They should be. I mean, I definitely would recommend talking to HR, but of course, I work in places where HR didn't exist. So
my HR didn't do shit.
At all?
And a lot of times they require you to have like a fucking portfolio of all the offenses. Evidence. And I'm just like, how do I bring you evidence of somebody talking to me reckless? In that data center, there was nobody else in there but me and him. It's his word against mine.
Yeah.
And he's my superior.
I think the way I handle them is, I'm definitely avoidant. Like, I definitely am just like, this person, their energy is funky, their aura is musty. I don't want them in my space no more. I'm over it. And I kind of just like turn my back on the situation. With my last job dealing with CA, I definitely told her, I was just like, bro, I don't know what your problem is with me, but we are just incompatible in how we work. Like, you really treat me like I'm your fucking secretary, and that's not what I was hired to do. Like, she definitely is one of those types of bosses that didn't know how to delegate appropriately. And instead it was just more so like, you do my work or you handle my clients. Like, she was the person whose clients would call me to get in touch with her. And I would tell, both of our boss this, and I would just be like, this is not, I'm not her fucking secretary. Like, I'm not picking up her phone calls for her. I'm just going to forward them to her. And if she doesn't call this person back, that's not my problem. I'm not that person's attorney. Like, why is this being put on, these responsibilities that are hers being put on me? So, we did have a conversation, but I didn't feel like it went anywhere. I really felt like it just went completely over her head. She was cool for a little bit, and then she started back up with her bullshit, and I was just like, okay. But then she became, the executive director of the organization I was working with. So that's when I was just like, all right, shit's gonna get weird. Because
So you think that if something could have been done, the solution would have been for her to get fired?
I would have loved that.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think that type of behavior in the workplace, like, is unacceptable. And she was the main source of it. Like, I wasn't actively doing anything to her. I wasn't plotting against her.
So in regards to how you felt about kids, where they should get therapy or have some type of program, none of that for adults?
I would have loved a mediator, but like, we didn't even have an HR. Like, they're not going to invest in somebody coming in mediating.
I mean, schools won't either, but this is, for play.
I mean, but like, yes, that would be a great alternative. Like, I would love if more workplaces invested in, conflict resolution teams or mediation teams. But the reality is that they don't, and you're kind of left on your own. And with adult bullies, it's just like, people do just expect you to deal with that shit on your own. But when they're your immediate supervisor, there's only so much you could do.
Yeah, I definitely had, at my next workplace, I had another adult bully, but then I had a bully that was a peer. He ended up getting fired, so that was a happy time for me, but it was a lot easier for me to have, gone to my supervisor and been like, hey, let's call him. I really want to say his name was about to roll off the tongue.
Say it.
Carlton. So
Carlton? Okay.
So Carlton, he definitely, again, classic bully behavior. He definitely, when I came into this workspace, he showed himself to be very knowledgeable. Like, he knew all the people, he knew how things went, and he knew how things worked. And when you're new to a space, you're just like, okay, cool, great. Also, he was black. So I'm just like, okay, we both black. Cool. And at that time, like, the team was kind of split into two areas. So he was really the only black person in the area where I sat. Everybody else was in a different building, even though I think there were more black people. I never saw them. I didn't have access to go to the building where they sat. So I was like, all right, this is the guy. This is my ally, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I remember one day, like, I did something wrong that was like against security, like a physical security violation. And I didn't realize I did it. And then I realized I went to him because he, showed himself to be the guy. And I was like, what do I do? And he was just like, you might as well quit right now, because like, he really made me feel like I was not only going to get fired, but I was like, was I going to catch a charge? Like, he made the situation feel so bad. And so I'm sitting there like crying, because I'm like, I just got this job.
Yeah.
I don't have anything. Like, what am I going to do? And when you violate like company policy, that's not just like a thing they sweep under the rug.
Yeah.
If somebody asks me why I got fired, I just like, I got to tell them like, I fucked up.
Was it an accident though?
It was an accident, but it was a big accident. So I ended up telling my supervisor when he came in, and my supervisor was just like, okay, do this, come back in and get to work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, why did this man make me feel like I was about to lose every bit of any, like, he really made me feel shitty. And I was just like, okay. I don't think you're my friend. I don't think you're somebody I'm gonna be cool with. And lo and behold, he showed himself to be really fucking weird. A couple weeks later, he was like, oh, did you have my breakfast? And I was like, did I have your breakfast? I didn't eat breakfast this morning. I didn't have a breakfast. And he was like, oh, I like a lemon poppy seed muffin. They have them in the cafeteria. I was like, okay, that's cool. He was like, go get me one. And I said, what? He was like, everybody who's new has to go get me breakfast. And I said, I'll get you breakfast if you give me the money. I'll go get it for you.
I'm surprised you even said that.
Because I was trying to understand how to react in this situation. Because, again, I'm new. And I don't like this guy. I don't trust him. I don't know if he's fucking with me or not. And he, like, got huffy and puffy with me. And he was like, no, you're supposed to buy it with your own money. And I said, I don't have money for a muffin for you. And then he got mad and he left. And so we weren't work wife and husband yet, but Zach was just kind of like, he's fucking weird. And I was just like, okay, this is quite weird though. And then he ended up getting fired like maybe a year later because he threatened somebody. Yeah, they walked his ass out expeditiously. I wasn't there for that. I wish I was, because I wasn't in the building where they moved him to with the other people. I wasn't in there yet. And so I just heard and I was just like, I'd take a day off and all this fun shit happened I don't get to hear about. But I don't know why. It may be I'm somebody who would have been susceptible to bullying and I just never was bullied.
That workplace hazing.
But I just I never really, I never went to my supervisor and was like, this nigga being weird.
Yeah.
Like I could have, especially with him being a peer. And allegedly he didn't have a good reputation. But I do wonder, like, at this point in my life, like why didn't I say something?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you didn't need to. He ended up getting fired regardless.
Yeah, but then you think, like, if you get into a situation where you need to advocate for yourself, you've shown that you don't. And that's a problem. But I guess that goes into saying, same thing about kids who get bullied too. It's just like, why don't you stick up for yourself? And for some people, like, that's not an immediate, like, they don't have that defense mechanism because they've either never needed it or they've tried to defend themselves before and it did not work out in their favor.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's quite a few people that fall into that category as adults that maybe you weren't bullied as a kid. Or if you were, it was just like some weird one-off. And then you get into the workplace and you're just like, the fuck do I do? Because I agree with you. I do think that people who are like, I don't want to use like soft bullying and hard bullying because that's not a thing. I think I'm just making that shit up. But like, if you are to the point where everybody understands you have a reputation, you should probably be fired.
Yeah.
But then there's so much like the Sag woman that I work with currently. A lot of people don't like her. A lot of people find her maybe abrasive. But I think that she talks calmly to people. She says what she has to say. 9 out of 10, she's professional. They just don't like her.
Yeah.
And so in that category, like, this woman probably would have got fired for bullying. I have heard people get on that phone and cuss at her, yell at her, and she doesn't yell back. She doesn't cuss back. But it's a lot of people who end up having these run-ins with her. And I'm just like, if there was a zero tolerance policy for work, she would have been fired.
Do you think she's a bully?
I don't.
Yeah.
I think that she is very confident in what she says. I think that she doesn't back down from things that she believes in. But I've never found her to be aggressive or abrasive.
Yeah.
Like, she is still a person you can have a conversation with.
And is she actively making the workplace environment hostile?
I don't think so. But there's also this. So for Black people, we communicate a little bit differently. And a lot of us have to, code switch when we're at work because the things that we say, because we're generally very direct, come off as rude. And so I think that there's this kind of understanding among everybody who's Black at work who really doesn't have an issue with her, because we know how to talk to each other. You know, like I told my work sis, I was like, she's just like an auntie.
Yeah.
And sometimes aunties, like, they feel strongly about what they have to say.
Loud and wrong.
Well, I ain't never known her to be wrong yet.
That's good.
Yet,
She's
but
just loud. Not even loud, but
no,
like
she's just very confident and deliberate about what she has to say. And so, you know, there's a difference between somebody saying, well, the process needs to do this, versus somebody saying, well, I think the process, you know, those are the things that I think corporate America goes, oh, it's nice to say, like, I believe or I propose. She just be like, this needs to happen.
Yeah, this is what needs to happen.
And that's just what we used to.
And there's no discussion further. Like, this is just what needs to happen.
She's even open to discussion. So I don't know how people be getting so upset with her, because I'm just like, it doesn't require all that. It is literally a conversation. You just don't like what she's saying. Yeah. So that's what makes it hard for me to make a decision on what I think is appropriate for bullies. Like, them getting fired, you have to really, and then like a lot of times with the zero tolerance policy, everybody involved get fired. Everybody involved get kicked out the school.
Yeah.
So it's just like, damn, I'm losing my job because I reported you, and they don't know who's right or who's wrong, so they just fired both of us.
Workplace is interesting.
Yeah, that would be a very hard environment for you to figure out how to deal with a workplace bully. Like, of course they have stuff on the books like, don't yell at people, don't threaten people, but when that shit happens, HR just be like, well, are you sure they said they would shoot you in the face?
Is
or
this what their
maybe
intention
they were
was?
like, you know, they said like, I'll shoot in your face, like dunking, you know, it's maybe we were,
is there some hyperbole that you missed, maybe?
see, like, and they don't, because they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, until it's too late.
Yeah. My first job that I had, there was one dude there. He worked on like one part of the infrastructure by himself. And so anytime there was an issue, like, most people would be like, oh, it's this issue. That guy's in charge. But he was so angry all the time, every day. Like, you hated to actually have an issue with his system, because then you had to talk to him. And the first thing he was going to say, it's not me. It's not my system. Okay, but it is, and nobody else can look into it but you, so can you
just look into it? He
made a comment one day about getting his carry license. That man was gone the next day.
License to carry? Oh.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, you already angry every day and you got a reputation? He was gone. He was gone.
That's smart. That's wise, because that probably could have been a Fox News situation.
And we worked in an open space, so I could literally see him from my chair. I was like, you would have messed around and got me first. I don't even know. But there's situations like that where it's like, okay, this is physical violence. Yes, I feel like most companies will be quick to, you know, nah, we can physically see you doing, no. But when it comes to like mentally and emotionally bullying somebody, these companies just be like, well, is it that bad?
Yeah, you guys can talk it out, right? No, we can't.
If I thought we could talk it out, would I be sitting here in your office?
No, I wouldn't. Were we gonna also talk about adults that bully kids?
We can. I actually have not, because I guess into like the realm of child abuse. And I feel like it is the same thing, in my opinion. You bullying a kid that don't understand, especially if you're responsible for that child, if that's your child, you abusing your kid.
Yeah. And it's funny because people are just like, oh, that word abuse is too strong. It's sharp.
Appropriate.
It is appropriate, because at the end of the day, like, you're exerting your power and your force over somebody that's weaker than you. And, you know, you're asserting that you're the superior being, right?
And you have an understanding that the person you're asserting your dominance over has no choice but to submit to you.
No choice at all. Otherwise, they don't get fed. They probably don't get shelter. Like,
or they, at the very minimum, they don't get, you know, that emotional and mental security.
Yeah.
Because maybe you're that kind of parent. You're like, well, I take care of mine. Yeah, but your child now has the emotional intelligence of a piece of paper.
Yes.
Because you keep telling your child, oh, I want to see you cry. I want to hear nothing from you.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just saw a TikTok where somebody was pretending to be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
She had the belt. She was like, stop crying before I give you something to cry about. And when she closed the door and left the room, she was like, wow, that was such good parenting.
I think I wanted to send that to you, and then I got lost. Because she had an accent, right?
Yes.
She was like, I did so good.
I did
Look at me.
so good. Wow.
Because this shit is... And we joke about it, too, because I do that with the cat. I'm like, say something else. Say something. Like, but at the end of the day, when you feel like you cannot speak on what you're... Just your feelings, not whether you're right or wrong. You have an adult in charge of you, especially if it's your family, especially if it's your actual parent, that is telling you, yes, you fucked up. I didn't like it. I'm going to punish you. Maybe over punish you because now I'm irritated.
Yeah.
And you need to show no signs that you are being punished.
Yep. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, my parents, God love them, they did their best. But like retrospect, looking back in my childhood, there were definitely a lot of moments where I was just like, this really easily could have just been a conversation. And y'all just didn't want to talk to me. They did hold space for me. Like, I do tell people that I could definitely go to my parents and be like, this is what's bothering me. But it had to be in a certain way. Like, it had to be packaged in a certain way for me to not get in trouble for like speaking my mind. But whenever there was a disagreement or an argument or anything like that, things would escalate and they would, kind of just like lose control. Like, my dad definitely more times than a few, he let his like rage and anger kind of take control over the situation instead of just meeting me where I was at as a child and like talking to me. And those are moments that like I remember as an adult and I'm just like, bro, that shit was wrong.
So I'll ask you this for this situation for a parent child, what do you think is the appropriate thing for an adult parental bully? Like, do you call CPS?
No, I mean,
or do you as a child just, take it to the chin and go, this is just what I have to deal with?
As a child, that's all I had to do. Like, I couldn't really do much else. I fantasized about running away and how life on the streets would just be so free and like I would be independent and be able to do whatever I wanted to do, but not even thinking about how I was gonna like survive or fend for myself. I basically wanted to be that kid on Free Willy before he got adopted, when he was just stealing shit at the seafood market. I just kind of wanted to be that person. So I would kind of plan out what my life would look like if I just ran away from that situation. But I didn't do it. I stayed put, took it on the chin, and I was just like, noted. Now as an adult, it's like all those things that I noted, I'm just like, fuck you.
like I wish there was a way for a child to alert another adult to bullying from their parents or from their caregiver or guardian without CPS getting involved.
Yeah.
Because CPS is such a, like, once that door is open,
it's ugly. It's an ugly door behind.
And I don't know too many situations where it's like the devil, right? Like, at least if you have a shitty parent, you're just like, I understand the ways of my shitty parent.
Yeah.
They take you out of that and you're like, oh, cool. I'm probably going to go to a better place. Wrong. You're going to a worse place. Yeah. And they're not only like verbally abusing you, they're now like physically abusing you and sometimes sexually abusing you. So it's very difficult. And this is why that phrase, it takes a village to raise a child, just keeps ringing true, more and more true, because when you don't have patience as a parent or a guardian or whatever the hell you are, you need to be able to tap somebody else in.
Yeah.
Like, if you are a single parent, you might not have that ability to tap somebody in because you done already had a long day of work, people getting on your damn nerves, and then your kid come up and they're like, I forgot to take the chicken out the freezer, and also I got an F on every test and I might not graduate. What? Like, now I just want to hit you, but I don't want to hit you. I'm just frustrated. But you don't have anybody to, like, you know, tag you out.
Yeah.
And I think that's when good grandparents are so important. I think that's when having other friends, not even friends who have kids, but other friends who are willing to help you. Like, Jimmy is going to make me throw myself off a building. Could you just sit with him for like an hour so I can go cry in the bathroom in peace, and then I will come right back. There's so much pressure on being a parent, and I won't say that doesn't exist, but the patience still needs to be there for a child. And if you need to recognize you don't have the patience.
Yeah, I'm just like, nobody told y'all to have me. It was a you decision. All you.
Especially when you are like, you have an understanding that you were a good child.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you messing with me? I literally didn't do anything.
I didn't get into any trouble. I didn't start no shit. I didn't start no problems. I followed rules. Like, I very much just had a mouth and opinions. And that's what got me in trouble.
A mouth will do it.
A mouth
will do, like,
and opinions.
Listen, there's a lot of people who said some words, and I'm just like, who are you talking to? So I get the immediate, like, I feel like I want to hit you. And then I feel like I want to say, and like, I can't hit people because, like, I don't know how the hit gonna come back.
Right.
Like, if we're fighting, I feel like the other person gonna get their lick. That's just how I feel in my heart. But verbal assaults, I will win. I will win that war. But you can't do that with your parents because I'm like, you gonna take away, like, I don't know, my dinner or my computer or my phone or something. Like, you have too much power. And as you know, the name of our episode says, like, some parents just really get high off the fact that they're in charge and they can do anything to the child that they're in charge of.
They're experiencing their own workplace bullies. You know what I'm saying? So they're coming home and they're like, oh, this is somebody that has less power. Let me assert my power over them the same way that fucking Dick and Nancy do at my job during the work days. So it's just this endless cycle of people just power tripping. Like,
I don't think I've ever, and I feel like it just takes a special kind of individual mentally, and that sounds wrong. Like, I'm not saying, like, you know,
niggas are weak. I say that all the time.
I just don't understand the thought process to the action of, I am having a terrible day, let me make somebody else have a terrible day. Because if I'm having a shitty day, in the moment, if I am currently on the brink of tears and I just want to end it all, if I see somebody having fun, I'm gonna be like, I need to leave. Because I'm suffering right now, and the sight of you being happy is just like, wow, look how great your life is and how shitty mine is. So I will leave a situation. But if something really good happens to you, not you just being regular happy, but like, you got a job, or you got recognized for an award, or you aced your practicum, whatever. If you have a major accomplishment, that shit will make me feel better. Maybe because I'm an empath, but just like, I could not see somebody telling me like, oh, I beat cancer and I had a bad day, and being like, it could come back. Like, that's weird ass shit to do.
That's what was happening to my everyday existence. It was like,
I don't understand.
Anything positive was met with immediate, like,
negativity.
Oh my God, yeah. Like an immediate put down. And that's what I carried into my adult life. And I'm just like, I have to check myself that I'm not spreading that cancerous behavior to other people when I'm having a bad day. It's something I have to be very much on top of and aware of in, my everyday, like, connections and meetings with people. Cause I'm just like, that's what I'm used to.
Yeah.
And that's the conversation that me and my parents, like, have yet to have. But like, at this point, I don't think anybody's ready to acknowledge it. Like that space of negativity and put down and whatever, that within itself is a form of bullying.
Absolutely.
So it's like reconciling that, acknowledging that, moving past that. I don't know how to do that on my own. I don't feel like I should. I feel like that should be something that, collectively we could work on as a family, but it's a conversation that I don't think anybody is willing to have yet. So
I just don't really know what the solution is for adult bullies, because honestly, if you're an adult, you should not be doing what the fuck you're doing.
you shouldn't.
I mean, there is a certain level of awareness that I understand, like, half the population just does not have.
Yeah.
But in the sense of, like, when you're making somebody feel shitty on a regular basis. Like, if we're going with the definition from our last episode, this is a reoccurring thing. So yes, you should know if every time you show up, people want to leave. If people are visibly distressed when you're around, stop being a dick.
Yeah. I mean, the solution is just being firm in your boundaries.
I'm like, maybe I'm still, well, never mind. I've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones, so I'm just like, trial by combat should come back for adult bullies.
Not trial by combat.
I'm going to hire
somebody to fight you.
Yes. Trial by combat. I'm bringing them to work, and they're gonna beat your ass, and then you gonna leave me alone.
Damn. I mean, I that would certainly. I mean, that's UFC. That's like getting people in the ring, celebrity boxing, and influencer.
I think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fight, but I'll find somebody.
Yeah.
Also, I will say that one of my workplace bullies, I checked him and he stopped.
What'd you say?
I just didn't back down. So we're gonna call him Daryl. So there was it was getting to the point where I was sending my mom like weekly emails like, today in Daryl got me fucked up.
Yeah.
Of course I wasn't cussing when I was talking to my mama, but it was kind of like that. And so I would just email her because it was a way for me to kind of express what was happening to me and release that, and really kind of get the sympathy from somebody that I like. My mom has also had issues with people in the workplace. So much so, like, she definitely came home crying one day. So I know she understands how frustrating it can be when somebody's in charge of you and they are just making your life a nightmare. So I would talk to her about it. But the one day I realized, I was like, this man doesn't try certain people on his team. He really only fucks with the people he thinks he can get away with it.
Yes.
And a lot of it was the women on the team, because I think we're just kind of used to being in that kind of field. Like, suck it up. You just gotta suck it up.
Yeah.
But I think he definitely went after my work husband at the time. He went after him too, and I was just like, that just had big dick energy. He just didn't take that shit to heart. But me, being the emotional ass person I was just like, why do you keep fucking with me? So one day he made some comment, Daryl did, and I said something like, oh yeah, I can't do that because this other person is my boss. Now, a bully needs to have absolute control.
Yes.
They need to feel superior.
Yes.
So when I mentioned that Daryl was not my boss,
yes,
he got very upset. And so the person I was referring to was like, I'm not your boss. But I'm just like, if you didn't like me, you could directly get me fired. You are the customer. You are my boss. He was just being like cool and chill about it because he's a cool ass, chill ass person. Yeah. But Daryl, he was just like, he's not. And I'm just like, but he is though. And he just got louder and he turned beet red.
Beautiful.
And so, mind you, I'm shaking because I'm like, I've never, Yes. So I'm just like, okay, let's keep it together. I'm starting to sweat and shit, but I'm just like typing. And so he gets up for a minute. He was like, can I talk to you? So I was like, sure. So I got up, went down the little hallway so he can tell me he's not your boss. And I just said, okay. and he walked away. After that, he never fucked with me again. Because I realized something about this bully. He didn't like to be embarrassed. And I think he felt embarrassed. I think he felt like, you know, he was being belittled, which is what he does to a lot of people on the team. And he didn't like it. And so then he stopped doing that to people who would throw that shit back at him. And that was the last time he did something to me. So I was just like, okay, I found my little way.
Sounds like
I stood up for myself.
He was a little bitch baby. And you put him in his place.
I think he really looked at me as like one of his kids. And I just was like, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So, and I already have a father, and a father who actually shows some of the same traits as you. So, nah, I'm not interested in. We are peers.
Yeah.
We are not. You were not higher than me. Like.
Yeah.
Because if I quit tomorrow, you doing my job, you can't. So that's when I stepped into my big dick energy.
Yes.
For my workplace.
Your workplace big dick is very big.
It is massive. Wheelbarrow just to get around.
Yes. Honestly. Too.
But I learned. That's like, I really had to stick up for myself. And after that, I was like, the level of confidence I have, no one can take from me. Because now I understand how bullies work, and I understand how to stick up for myself. It was scary. I was shaking the entire time. I was sweaty. I had to go like leave and sit in the bathroom for a second to calm down.
Was it the right pit?
Always.
Okay.
The adrenaline was so high because I was like, if I fuck this up, I don't know what's gonna happen next. Could I lose my job? Could I get demoted? Could I get written up? You know. Yeah. But I took a chance and it worked out.
I'd be taking those chances, but I asked people. I was like, "Can I speak honestly?" Please do. Okay, so here's where you got me fucked up.
The base.
Yeah, and then
the base and the fucked up.
I just kind of go off of like whether or not I have permission to be honest. But other than that, I'm just like, I peep, I move accordingly, I exit people out of my life. Like CA got blocked so fast. So fast. And I believe, if I check my block messages, I believe CA has tried to contact me. That's just was never going to happen again. I was just like, I'm done with this bitch.
Yeah, Daryl did send out an email because one of the people we worked with was returning back to his country of origin where he had his family and everything. And so he was trying to get like the team together basically to do like a going away. I checked to see if the people I liked were going. Either I didn't get a response or they said they weren't. And then I was like, no, I'm not going there to see Daryl. We're not friends. We were coworkers. I had friends on that team. He was not one of them. And that's okay. But like, you know,
when your bullies try to be your friend,
it's just very strange because I'm like, I'm not showing up for, and it wasn't for him. So I did kind of feel a little bad, but I wasn't terribly close with the person who was leaving. So I was just like, I'll just send him an email and let him know, you know, it was a pleasure working with you. And well wishes. He was funny. He was kind of funny older guy. He kept calling me Ebony and Stephanie. It was really funny.
Oh dear.
Yeah. He'd be like, Ebony.
No.
Ebony?
No.
And I just ignored it until he said my name correctly.
That's good that you ignored it.
And he be talking loud as hell too. They just be looking at me and I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Who is Ebony?
So I don't know if I reminded him of somebody, but I was just like, nah. And my job before that job, there was a Stephanie, and they called me Stephanie all the time. I was like, my name's not too complicated.
Was it Stephanie with an I?
It's I-E.
Disrespect. Don't like
but
it.
I think that's the traditional spelling for Stephanie.
Yeah, but
so I just like, nope, we're not the same person. We're both black, but we are different people.
Quite literally, untraditional spelling over here.
Yeah, but they be taking that like a whole, like it's a one letter thing, and they be like TIFFINI. No, no, no. TIPH. No.
I have met a TIPHANI. I've met her before.
I've seen one. And like in our email like gallery list, but I'm just like, that's not me. Attention to detail. Get my name right.
That is true.
You want me to help you and listen to you? Because it's one letter.
Fucking do better. One letter.
One letter.
One letter. Well, fuck. Shit.
But if y'all have like adult bullies, tell us like how y'all dealt with it and what y'all think should happen to them, because it's
I think they need their shit rocked.
They really are just running around unchecked, and I don't appreciate that.
Somebody will check them, whether it's a person, whether it's, a creator, whoever. It's going to check them. Like, karma is coming. Where I have pause is whether or not that should be me sometimes.
That's because I'm like, what does the karma matter if I don't see it?
Yeah.
I need to be there. I need to feel the karma happening. I need to get my lick back. Like, and I need to see it happen.
Honestly, with CA, them hiring somebody that literally left their former job for the exact reason why I hated that bitch, I was like, wow, this is Netflix comedic gold. You're taking my job and you have your own CA that called me to complain about you and say that you were unprofessional and all this other stuff. And I was high when this woman called me. I was like, ma'am, I am not his supervisor. In fact, he's taking my job. So she was like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said this. Oh my God, I'm sure he's perfectly capable to do that job.
But like, why would you call?
She called because she didn't want to directly work with him. She was like, I would rather not him be the point of contact. If there's somebody else, can you let me know? And I was like, no, we just lost 3 people. I am one of those
all here.
People. Yeah, like he's gonna be the only one. So if he left to avoid you and now you niggas need to talk to each other, good luck. Good luck.
I'm very happy to say that I don't have any bullies at my current workplace.
Me too.
The only time ma'am.
Hopefully that changes by the time this comes out.
The only thing that be pissing me off at work is some of these people dumb.
Yeah.
And some of these people smart dumb. So they know that they could play dumb to get away with shit. I don't know what that is. Yes, you do. That's what be grinding my gears, but I'm bully free for now, so I appreciate that. If you got bullies, advocate, start a petition. Somebody start a petition, trial by combat with your bullies.
Yeah.
First person to put it out into the atmosphere gets to put the terms.
Yeah, for sure.
Surprise them.
Yeah. I'll meet you at 5 p.m. after work. Like this episode of The Office.
I'm gonna meet you in the lunchroom. Honestly, we not waiting until after work.
Not during lunch. Goddamn.
During lunch, I need an audience. So don't try it again.
Don't try it again. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that
stereo contest.
That puts the a good ending to power tripping and bullying. Like, just don't do it. Just be kind to people.
Don't be a bully. If you are not going to get involved to stop bullying, at least tell somebody else.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't gotta step in and get your shit rocked, but tell somebody appropriate. If you see somebody bullying kids, please go to the gym, get your weight up, rock they shit. We don't bully kids out here.
We don't.
Even though I do say often that some people do need to be bullied, because they be being weird. Some shit we gotta get that out of you.
Yeah, don't actually bully people.
But yeah, don't make them feel like garbage.
Yeah, because that's not right.
Yeah,
and it'll come back to bite you in the asshole.
Tenfold, probably.
Tenfold, yeah.
Like, you're gonna be a bully and you're gonna have a kid that bullies kids, and you have to go up to that school every damn day. You're gonna get kicked out of every school in your county.
Yes.
They're gonna be a ward of the state. You're gonna be upset. They'll never be able to take care of you because they're in jail.
You're gonna be like, why? And then you're gonna remember that one weird black kid that you made fun of in 2nd grade. That's why.
Yep, so be kind.
Be kind to yourself.
Be kind to others.
And continue to be that beautiful little galaxy you're meant to be. Yeah. All right. It's lit.